We talk a lot about like the quarterbacks in the NFL, who's at the different tiers. Well, The Atlantic released a quarterback tiers list, okay? All 2025 starting quarterbacks broken down into 5 different tiers, okay? From 6 GMs, 6 assistant GMs, 6 former GMs, 5 other execs, and 8 head coaches, and 19 other coaches, including 15 coordinators. So a lot of people who have a lot of experience in the NFL. And this is their tiered list right here. Most notably, tied at 1, not too much of a surprise here, Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow tied at 1. Then they're putting Josh Allen at 3, Jackson at 4, and then Matt Stafford at 5 to round out the first tier here. I think this is fascinating. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions on this. The tier 2 and tier 3 is kind of interesting here. What do you make of Brock Purdy being at the bottom of tier 2? You think that's a good spot for him? I know some people, he's very...
I feel like it's a little low. I do like that he's above Kyler Murray, though. I like that. But I think he's still a little low. I don't know how he's ever going to get over this underestimation hump that he's...
I don't think even if he wins a Super Bowl, everyone's going to say, yeah, well, I mean, it's Kyle Shanahan and his offensive scheme. Well, because look, people are even saying that about Jalen Hurts. He also kind of gets that. It's like, oh, yeah, I mean, well, anybody could have won a Super Bowl with that roster. So I kind of worry for Brock Purdy that he can never escape that. What do you think?
Yeah, if you're talking about wins and losses, he should definitely be higher up the chain. Herbert should probably be in that lower quartile of 2 tiers. Yeah. It is getting a little disrespectful, but I think at this point in time, he got paid. He has a great team around him. He has a great coaching staff around him. He is still developing as a young player and doing quite well at that. So I think he's in a prime position to actually make a leap, because we talked about we were talking about rankings in college ball and all that kind of stuff, and maybe not wanting to be number 1 right off the bat and having a juggernaut that you face right off the bat, because then the expectation is so high. So there's something to be said here where Brock, once again, as Mr. Irrelevant, can prove people wrong, and keeping that chip on his shoulder, keeping that sort of drive to succeed, not because other people are doubting you, but just because you have it within yourself. But the doubting does help fuel that pursuit. So I think Brock being here, while I don't agree with it, is probably best for him, especially if he puts eyes on this, which I doubt he will.
Yeah, that's true. You know what?
He doesn't need any more fuel to the fire, guys. He's the underdog. It's ingrained in him. He doesn't need any more. Putting Justin Herbert above him, okay, this is the whole thing. I think the NFL has more than anything is that perception. It's because he's so much taller. They just look at Brock Purdy. He's not tall. He's a short quarterback, and I just really don't like the way they treat him.
Yeah, I know you don't. You know what I just noticed? They did another tie at 9th. It's like
I know
2 separate ties, and they have another tie at 20th. It's like, really, you're going to tie for 20th? Just pick one to be better than the other here. What do you guys make of Baker?
I think the most egregious, though, the most egregious of the ties is the CJ Stroud, Jalen Hurts. Look, Jalen's coming off of an incredible year, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner. You can't have him tie with the 3rd-year dude in CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
no shade to CJ.
Well, a little bit of shade to CJ, because especially a guy who came after kind of a sophomore slump season. He had a great rookie season, and then last year was kind of granted, their offensive line was pretty bad, but still, to put him as a top 10 quarterback there and tie with the Super Bowl winning quarterback, don't love that. What do you guys make of Baker? I love that. I love Baker, at least up there in tier 2. Yeah. Middle of tier 2. I mean, this guy.
It's the same sort of thing with Brock. It's like he's been doubted ever since his second year in the league, and obviously he was in a bad situation there in the Browns, but he's been doubted in the same way, and he's always had that chip, coming out of the college ranks and everything. We knew Baker to be that guy that always had that sort of that fire in him and the way in which he approached the game. So I love his positioning here, him having the opportunity, or at least having that dangling in front of him of trying to get to a top 10, at least in the eyes of the media. I think this is great stuff for him. And going back to the Brock Purdy stuff, look, I know what you mean. You don't necessarily need the fuel if you're always considered the underdog and all that kind of stuff. But life does change a little bit. Everybody's susceptible to it when you start signing checks of that size or receiving checks of that size and that payment. So there's always the fear. I mean, we talked about Conor McGregor and everything like that, where things change when you get into silk sheets, So
Dude,
can he avoid that and keep the fire, keep the
exactly what I was going to say about Brock Purdy. He's had this Mr. Irrelevance chip on the shoulder. Now he just signed a big fat contract, and it's hard to wake up at 5 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk sheets. So look, you guys laughed at me when I said this a couple weeks ago, and it hurt my feelings. And it was, you know what? It was a great take, and it's shared by the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. We were talking about Joe Burrow, tied at number 1 in this list here. Number 1, best quarterback in the NFL. But I said, we were talking about, he's done everything he can. He throws 40-plus touchdowns. Like, what else can he do? His defense just sucks. This is what Tom Brady had to say, and it's eerily similar to what I was saying, you guys. Eerily similar, okay? Why don't you go ahead and listen up to mine and Tom Brady's perspective.
So I just don't think as a quarterback you go and you punch the clock. I did my job. I threw for 40 touchdowns. Why are we not winning?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in the offseason to help your defense? What are you doing to push the personnel department to get people doing the right thing? Are you involved in game planning? I used to do game plans.
Sure.
I used to walk in there and say, these are the things we're doing. Okay, I used to do my own walkthroughs. I used to go, all right, guys, I don't give the coaches want to come. We're doing our walkthrough.
Right.
We're going to come up with our own signals because this is what I need to be on the field to be successful.
Okay. That's essentially what I was saying a couple weeks ago, that no matter how great you personally play, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty vindicated. What do you guys make of it? Do you still stand on, well, Joe Burrow did everything he can. I mean, what else can he do? It's going to Paris Fashion Week in the offseason. Why don't you help your defense get better?
I never defended that. Never. You can't wear a suit without a back.
Your defense implied that you defend.
He wore a suit without a back? He wore a backless suit?
Yeah, dude. Have you heard of assless chaps? He wore a backless suit.
Okay, that's the only thing that started concerning me about Joe Burrow is when he got the veneers. Your teeth are fine. I don't like the veneers. Okay, they need to come out with veneers. Also, veneers are scary. They're too perfect. They need to come out with veneers that are slightly coffee stained. Just come up with another product line of veneers.
Yeah. Like eggshell white, not pure.
Yeah, eggshell white.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
white
and eggshell white are the exact same color, okay? So, as the great Michael Scott said. You guys agree with this, though? I was saying that if you're a quarterback, I mean, if you want to just be a punch the clock, like, look, I did everything I can, and kudos to everything he did on the offensive side of the ball. But as a quarterback, you do have a responsibility, and a captain of the team, you have a responsibility to make sure all units are going and doing everything you can. Yeah, he's got the offense in good shape, but get the defense fired up, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what I even said, but look, my defense, I think was more so on the side of the difference in leadership type. And there's something between a silent lead by action sort of guy and a more vocal leader. And that doesn't mean that both they can't be, there can't be overlay there. But at the same time, I think Joe clearly falls in the former, where he's leading by action. He's doing everything he possibly can to get his team to that level. And we saw it even in quarterback, where he is vocal. Like he does say things on the sidelines. Granted, it may be a little more confined to the coach or a specific player or his position coach or anything like that. But at the same time, he is vocal. And I feel like everybody on the team feels his vibe, where he doesn't need to necessarily say it. So I get what Tom is talking about here, but who's to say that Joe isn't trying to do that? Clearly where there's smoke, there's fire in a lot of that organization. And it doesn't seem to necessarily love somebody coming in and telling them what to do.
Well, maybe he is trying, but he's not getting the results. I just don't think Tom Brady is going to stand by. If Tom Brady was in that situation, is going to stand by and let his defense suck. He's going to be in there and making his front office and coaches change something up. So,
look, I think the message is absolutely right for a leader, and I think as a teammate of that leader or of a Tom, I'm sure people are going to listen. I'm sure people appreciate him taking the responsibility and onus of leading the team in all respects. And that's clearly what he just explained right there. And maybe it is something Joe needs to hear, because clearly he has a talent. There's a little element that might be missing.
Could be. Could be. I don't know. Maybe he's just, he's a little too comfortable. Who knows? So this is a little bit, I know we're talking NFL right now, and this dips a little into college, but it's sticking with Tom from that same interview. And then he talks about why like certain quarterbacks are not developing in the same way that he got to develop through college. Let me play this. You know what? I got to refresh it so it'll start from the beginning, I think. Hold on.
Instagram.
These young quarterbacks coming to the National Football League.
Yeah.
What do they not have? And what do you think college coaches should be focusing on in development for college quarterbacks?
I don't think there is much development at this point. There's a lack of development. There's a lack of development at the pro level. In some ways, there's a lack of development. In some ways, they're overdeveloped because they actually are starting at a young age. Maybe there's a physical development that I see that's probably a bit better based on all the instructional videos that are out there on YouTube or Instagram. There are more videos on how to throw a football now than I ever could have imagined.
Private coaches and so on.
Exactly. There's all those. So physically they're developed, but the mental, learning how to study the game, learning the tactics, learning how to watch film, learning how to deal with the emotions of a competitive program, going up against a school rival, failing in front of 70,000 people. I think we're lacking the mental, emotional development. Physically, they may look developed. Mentally, emotionally, they're very underdeveloped. Sometimes their emotional growth is stunted by the fact that everybody is telling them how great they are all the time, or that it's not their fault all the time. You go lose a game, it's not your fault, honey. It's someone else's fault. Honey. The team aspect of sports is always about us. Bo Schembechler at Michigan used to say, the team. And that was a great thing for me to learn, because for me, when I got to the pro level, the only way that I could see us winning a championship was a group of men collectively coming together to try to accomplish this great goal. It's really freaking hard to do that. You need everybody invested in the success of the team. So when you have those lessons, that is a very important structure for you to have. You got to be able to rely on your teammates. You have to be able to rely on your coaches. You have to develop the resilience within you, because as an athlete, as a broadcaster, whatever job you choose in life, you're going to have to work your way up. And the more you're entitled to something, the less you're actually going to learn about the reasons why you can become successful.
You know who I was thinking about the whole time Tom was talking there? Caleb Williams. That's who I was thinking of. This quarterback who he bounced around to he didn't really bounce around, but he went to USC, followed his coach there. They were pretty below average. Everyone was talking about how great he was personally. He wasn't actually winning games. Not your fault, brother. Clearly lacks a little bit of the mental side of things in the quarterback position, I would say, and some of his antics. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's fair for fans to infer that he does lack sort of that mental capacity. We've been kind of hammering him here over camp, and just the antics of his body language and how he reacts to even a friendly net competition. It's just like, dude, come on, you got to dial this back, because you keep doing it on Sundays. You keep doing this in games. Like, you saying that it was fake, it's no longer fake at this point. You've done it your entire career, so it's you.
It's so interesting. Okay, all the stuff Tom was saying about talent and how there's so much more information out now. Okay, it's really interesting, because now young players can get access to all this professional NFL guys' technique, videos of NFL guys talking about their technique, their approach, all this stuff. This knowledge is so accessible. And so I think it's interesting, the conversation about how your talent can get hyper developed, but I think it kind of takes away from your ability to be a good teammate, because you kind of get siloed off because you're so hyper focused on just my talent. Yeah. And the other thing he's talking about, like, you underdevelop your emotional and the other aspects of being a complete athlete. Like, talent is not the end all be all. And there was actually a quote I was reading in a book yesterday. Okay. And it was talking about, I took notes on this book.
Oh, there we go.
But this is what it was.
There we go.
Most people can only perform to their talent level. Then after that, they stop and fail because their mind has nothing for them after talent. So there's a whole other, talent is not the end all be all, but we're in a hyper talent fetishized world. With
that is great. I like that.
Yeah,
most people can only perform up to their physical talents. Like, all they care about is technique, talent, like my physical traits. It's like, yeah, you might be able to do that, but then you have a meltdown on 3rd and 9. But
that's exactly, I think, what Tom's saying is like, what are you beyond your talent level? When you've reached the limit of your talent, what are you after that? Where can you dig after that?
Right. And it's him speaking to the talent being what brings, like, people just see their talent. They keep getting all the praise on social media. They keep getting everything from old school media, and everybody's always telling them they're the best. And then that is what gives them the entitlement factor of coming in and being like, no, I should be the highest paid X position, whatever is out there. And it's very similar to, I mean, we talked about it too, the ChatGPT study of people who are relying on ChatGPT to give them all the answers. And yeah, they may be technically on paper getting right answers and being able to deliver and doing all that kind of stuff. But is it really them? Have they really developed? Have they really digested that information? Have they become more knowledgeable, or have they actually crippled themselves to go beyond? And I get the sense that a lot of the information that's out there, a lot of the tutorials and all of the talent level rise and development and everything, that's actually had an inverse effect and killed the mental development, the character development for everyone.
I love that. Think about like a guy, a young man nowadays who has access to ChatGPT and Google and whatever, and get all the information in the world. And then you go back 100 years to someone like Theodore Roosevelt, who didn't have access to all of that. But I think that he was a much more impressive man because he had to develop all different pillars of himself and who he is, and couldn't just rely on this crutch here. Is that kind of what you're saying? That's kind of what I'm feeling.
Yeah. And then it's like, so then when these athletes, when they come into places where, how was I going to say that? But like, dang it. It was so good. But essentially it's like, if you're in a situation and you can't just rely on your talent, forget it. It's gone. Okay.
You were on a roll, Mike.
I know.
So So there we have it. Talent. Tom Brady just ripping into some of the younger generations. Let's talk. I know we like to talk about him a lot, but he's forcing us to do it because he just is a showman, and that's our man, Jerry Jones, who somehow always, even when the Dallas Cowboys are so mediocre on the football field, they are always the hot topic of discussion. And Jerry actually leans into that, and he essentially likes it.
I do believe if we're not being looked at, then I'll do my part to get us looked at. The Cowboys are a soap opera 365 days.
The screening will begin.
When it gets slow, I'll stir it up.
Please take your seats.
And so it's wonderful to have the great athletes, have the great players. But there's something more there. There's sizzle, there's emotion, and if you will, there's controversy. That controversy is good stuff in terms of keeping and having people's attention.
He just confirmed our conspiracy.
Like
Jerry doesn't. I mean, of course, he wants Super Bowls, but he cares more about the storyline and the spotlight. Don't you think?
We called this. We called it out. He's a businessman who's just thinking about brand value first and foremost.
Yeah, he's a master marketer, and he let the cat out of the bag. Granted, he's in a scenario where this makes way more sense in context of him promoting another marketing sort of endeavor of the Dallas Cowboys, where I think they're at the screening of the America's Team or whatever it's titled.
Right here,
yeah. So in context, out of context, this sounds crazy, but it's reality. And only doubled down by the fact that he's here promoting a show about his team, about his organization. That's only going to further this. But yeah, Jerry loves to stir the pot. He's now said it plainly. We've seen that based on how he's approached Dak, how he's approached Micah and CD, even like all of these negotiations. He's realizing there's so much leverage to be had in the world of news and eyeballs and ears that bad press, like he's going by the bad, any press is good press, whether it be bad or good. And he's married to that concept.
He absolutely is. I'll tell you what, though, there is one Dallas Cowboys fan who's not happy with this. Did you guys see this? Do you know who I'm talking about? Do you know? Denzel. Okay.
He's a Cowboys fan?
Denzel, here. This is kind of sick. Denzel is not happy with Jerry. I'll let it play.
I grew up in Mount Vernon, uptown.
Money earning.
The Red Raiders, we were the Red Raiders in the 60s. I was the running back, and we used to shift like the Cowboys.
Landry.
So I said, the Cowboys play like us. Right. I've been a Cowboy fan since the 60s. He's making it hard for me. Not to be a fan, because I'm still a Cowboy fan. I'm still going to have the star on the side of the hat. But he ain't thinking about us. He's thinking about his pocket.
Okay. I mean, says it all.
Get Jerry Jones on the
Dramatic.
Get him on the phone.
So dramatic.
What does he say? You tell me. What does he say?
He says that
He's
talking
getting
about
rich.
my Cowboys, we're the most successful brand in sports. You know.
You mean in terms of what? Championship?
No, of course he can't say championship. He can't say championship. He's
talking about?
talking about recognition, notoriety, dollars and cents.
In sports?
I said, but in the end,
More than the Yankees?
You haven't been in an NFC championship game or a Super Bowl in 30 years. 30 years, okay? And for some reason, he's just stubborn, man. And then you got his son sitting there talking about Michael Parsons like, hey, he got to want to sign the contract. What? Makes no sense, guys. But you know this.
There's box office and there's Oscars. Jerry, been a while, huh? You ain't been to the show, you wouldn't know. Wouldn't been to the show, you wouldn't know.
Uh-oh.
Haven't been to the show, so you wouldn't know what it is to win.
Spike Lee.
Right. I need to add.
I feel like we could.
Okay, so I like that what he's saying right there. There's box office and there's the Oscars. Seems like, so if you got a movie, right, it can be a big commercial success and make a bunch of money, like the Minecraft movie, or you can have a critically acclaimed movie that wins the Oscar for Best Picture, which is winning the Super Bowl, I would say. What do you make of this?
I would agree
Denzel's
with
so
this.
cool.
Yeah, Denzel's awesome. I love that.
Denzel's so sick.
ESPN's bringing out the big guns, bringing the drama. I love his delivery. Perfect. Guy's one of the best to ever do it. But I would say this would make sense. This analogy would make sense if it were, I don't know, before 2010. That's probably more accurate. Nowadays, we all know the Oscars it's just a bunch of fluff. If we're talking about quality of movie, it doesn't even compare. So great analogy, but doesn't fit in today.
Let's call it. Yeah, you're right. Let's call it theoretical. A theoretical analogy.
Theoretical. But also today, like, dude, we're still talking about the Cowboys, even though they haven't won for 30 years. Jerry is winning. He's winning the narrative every year and not even having to win on the field. So maybe he's winning the entire game of all of this. He's beating everybody at this, and he doesn't even need to get a trophy. He's making money, and he's raising all boats with what he's doing. So all of these NFL organizations are making money because of what he has put forth over the past 30 years. Even before that, when they were winning, he essentially built the NFL's platform to become the behemoth it is. So it's like, I get it. You're not winning championships, but he is putting you on the map and has kept you relevant.
Jerry's operating on a whole different plane. Like it's like, what is that quote? Like, experts can hit an arrow that nobody else can, but geniuses can hit a target that nobody else can see. That's Jerry. Jerry can see this target that no other owners can see, nobody else in football can see, and it has created the modern NFL.
Yeah. Because why else? New England is in a massive market. I don't know how it compares apples to Dallas or anything like that. And historically, Dallas just has that foundation. But if we're talking about like success and then also the value of an organization, the Patriots, by all intents and purposes, by championship, should be untouchable right now.
Yeah,
but they're not. Dallas is still top dog.
Who would you rather? Which franchise would you rather own? The Dallas Cowboys or the New England Patriots? Or let's make it a little bit more modern of like a team that's competitive in the Super Bowl world. Would you rather own the Dallas Cowboys or let's say the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens? Like two teams that are probably going to be in the Super Bowl or have a good chance to it.
Well, if I were a billionaire, what
would you do if you were the billionaire?
I play this game every night before I fall asleep.
Who would you? All right. No. Okay. So Jerry just figuring out what. Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Okay, I'm defending Jerry, but at the same time, as more of a traditionalist and purist and love for the game, I don't love it for the product. But he is playing a game and winning a game that nobody else is seeing. And it's actually helping everybody else at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. Well, let's say, like, let me defend Jerry even in the traditional sense. He's making. So we argue like the NFL. We've been saying that Jerry has been a big part of what the NFL has become today. And the NFL today is obviously it's just surpassed all other sports, especially in North America. It's creeping out into the international community as well, and making football this game that we love much more popular, much more ingrained. And who can we thank for that? Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, he is operating. He's hitting the target that none of us can even see. Jerry Jones operating. And great actor.
A great actor. Yeah. He pitted up against Denzel right now. That's what's happening.
Give me a scene with Denzel and Jerry in it. You know what? Not even a scene. Just let those two just sit in a room, do a podcast. All right. So there we have it, Dallas Cowboys. Okay. I'm torn on this one. All right. Cam Heyward going to Pittsburgh. 36 years old. All right. He was an all-pro last year, and he is currently sitting out. He wants a renewal on his contract and an update on his contract. He's currently sitting out. Here's a reason. Like we talked about this, and we've been on the side of players in this situation. You only have X amount of opportunities to make this money. The reason I'm torn on it is because he was hypercritical of Aaron Rodgers for some stuff like this. So here, this person, Jared Kane, has a quote tweet or a tweet here. What's funny about the Cam Heyward publicly calling out Aaron Rodgers specifically stated, if you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, be a Pittsburgh Steeler. And now Heyward is doing the complete opposite. He's the team captain. It's his job to be at practice every single day and lead by example. You're not leading by example. You're sending an awful message here. So that's why I'm a little bit torn. What do you guys make of this situation of Cam Heyward sitting out right now?
What is he? He's doing a contract sit out?
Yes, he said so. He did say to give him a little bit more leeway. He did say that if he had an all-pro situation or he had an all-pro season, that he was going to do this. He did say that, and he reached out and started like wanting to do these discussions in February, apparently, allegedly, and he did have that all-pro season, which I think at age 35, 36, whatever he was during the season, it's pretty damn impressive. Yeah. And now he's making good on what he said. So what do you think?
I'm fine with him approaching this. It's just a shame that he said what he said about Aaron. I think he was put on the spot. I forgot who he was speaking to. It might have been on the Pat McAfee show or something like that. It was one of those big shows that somebody asked him this, like kind of out of the blue. And I think he went with his gut comment there, which the message was awesome when you hear that stuff. Cause we always talk about the Steelers being an organization that's very akin to like a high school or college club where it actually feels like you're part of I hate the word family, but a tight-knit group of people, a brotherhood that goes on beyond your playing years. So we always talk about that. So that message hit true to exactly what we've thought the Steelers to be. Just very ill-timed. Like, I wish he wouldn't have said that, and then none of this would be an issue. Like, because his performance to this point has been stellar. He deserves to push for more money at this point in time. It's just the fact that he said it makes all of this bad. It clouds it. It taints it a little bit, because I think if he didn't say any of that, he wouldn't. He just it looks a little hypocritical is all, because he does deserve more money. I think he's getting paid about half of other elite interior defensive linemen. It's just like, and those guys are pretty hard to find. There's a lot of edge rushers that come up through the draft every year. We have a good amount of these guys, but those elite interior defensive linemen, that's kind of tough. And then you add in like the leadership element. What do they call him? A one helmet guy. He's been there his whole career, right? Yeah. So, he's a Steeler, like in his blood. He's a Steeler, and that's why this is just a terrible situation. But you know, Aaron is looking across the locker room at him, just be like,
"Yeah, what's up, bro? What's up?" Hey, Scott, I want to go what you said there, because the NFL is a business. It's different than college, or what college used to be. Yeah. But it's like, so calling the locker room in a football team in the NFL, like, oh, we're a family here. It's a little bit, doesn't really work, except for a couple teams, I feel like, or at least more than others. And the Pittsburgh Steelers would be one of them. Yeah. And I think it's because they do have such a strong historical culture, and it's like there's a very clear brand and cultural value there. What other teams in the NFL come to mind that you feel like, oh yeah, that's kind of like there's like a family culture there? Do any?
Well, if you're part of that comes from the head coach, because Mike Tomlin's been there for so long. I think you kind of say that about the Lions, because Dan Campbell, like, when you have like gritty leadership, I think that you can get closer to the realm of family categorization. True.
Yeah, I mean, even before Tomlin, I think the Steelers have had 3 coaches.
They've had 3 head coaches.
Yeah. So,
Dang.
I mean, it's been just a consistent organization, and that starts with the front office trusting those three coaches throughout history, and they've won Super Bowls. They've made the Iron or Steel Curtain, all that kind of stuff. Like they've made a name for themselves. I would say if we're talking about family and everything like that, in this day and age, if we want to talk about a dysfunctional family of the NFL, it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys is the other organization with the brotherhood that spans beyond decades. So they're just a dysfunctional side.
It's interesting.
The Cowboys have a stepdad who brought in their stepkids from another marriage. That's the kind of family they got.
So the Steelers have they've stayed with the marriage the whole time. Like they've only had 3 different coaches over their whole. Jerry's had a bunch of different coaches. He's basically just trading in new wives here. And so the family's still holding together somehow. It's a little bit different though, but
it's kind of like Jerry is kind of like what's his face from not Billions, but Secession. It's kind of like that family.
There you go.
But it's still a family.
Yeah, still a family. So there we have it. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Okay, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about this. Okay, and they're way too overexposed. The Kelce family, specifically Travis Kelce. Okay, but hey, they are dropping a podcast with Taylor Swift tonight, and you know what? I'm gonna watch it. Okay. This is interesting. Travis Kelce, who his personal performance on the football field has been not as good the last couple of years. And these last couple of years is when he's really been doing this whole media thing. They started the podcast, and he's even kind of admitted to being a little bit distracted and not playing up to his ability here. Portnoy kind of fired at him here and said, all joking aside, this media blitz from Travis Kelce confirms the Chiefs are cooked. And this goes back to what we were saying. As Marvin Hagler once said, it's tough to get out of bed and do road work at 5 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. The Chiefs had a cute run, but laughable to compare them to the Patriots' mega dynasty. So what do you think? Is Travis Kelce cooked? And is it due to all of his media appearances and media focus? He is currently
number one.
Yeah.
I just despise when people use this trendy language and these trendy social media terms like cooked, especially as an adult human man to use. Oh, it's despicable. It's despicable. All it says is I have no original thought. My character washes with the wind and I will do anything to fit it. That's everything you've told everybody that about yourself by using that word in your vocabulary. So
I agree completely. Also, Dave Portnoy, he is 48 years old.
Yeah, it's the same with that word, and then people who say crashing out despise it.
Gosh.
Well, disgusting.
On the same level. I got on the same level.
What do you got?
No, I'm not defending the language, but at the same time, he's playing a game that, say, Jerry is playing in the NFL. He's playing that game and still at 48, reaching a whole swath of people that otherwise 48-year-olds do not reach. So he's doing that game, and he's doing it fairly well. I mean, not that I love it. I'm in your boat right there, your camp. But I think, Nick, you had the tell right there. The way in which you posed that question leading up to this, you said Travis Kelce cooked, not the Chiefs, as Portnoy said. So I disagree with Dave's take that the Chiefs are cooked. I think it's more of a Travis focused sort of thing. And look, everybody's looking for the next thing. What are they going to do after retirement? He sees the end of the road. He's older. His body's probably insanely banged up, not to the level of Gronk or anything like that, but you can tell he's probably trying to figure out what's next. I mean, granted, he has the podcast, really successful, all that kind of stuff, watching his brother do what he's doing and all that, which is great. But I think it's more of I don't think Pat Mahomes would let, or Andy Reid would let the organization or the team fall by the wayside just because of one guy. And so I don't know. I don't think the Chiefs are cooked. I think they may have a step back, which the Patriots even had during their dynasty with Tom and Bill at the helm. Like, they had to figure out certain ways to do it, but they did it quickly when they had to correct, and they got back on top. I think the Chiefs are built to do something similar. I don't think one guy like a Travis Kelce is the linchpin of that. Yeah,
I mean, I think it'd be different if it was Mahomes, but no offense, Travis Kelce, an all-time great tight ends, that is less important than a guy like Mahomes. But what do you make of this? Do you blame him? Because he says this. He says, Kelce admits his NFL performance was impacted by his decision to venture into acting and being an entertainer. He says, I think I might have slipped up a little bit because I did have a little bit more focus in trying to set myself up. opportunities came up where I was excited to venture into new worlds and be an entertainer. I don't say this as I shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying that my work ethic is such that I have to have so much pride in how I do things that I never want the product to tail off. And I feel like these past 2 seasons have not been to my standard. So I admire him for admitting that, actually. Do you think it was a mistake? Do you think it's a mistake to try and, I mean, we talked about it. And even these guys who play in the NFL for a long time and make a bunch of money, like he doesn't need money afterward, but he does have to do something afterward just as a human being. Do you blame him? Do you think it's a mistake?
I don't think it's a mistake to venture in. I think it's a mistake to make it, like you always keep the main thing, as they say. And what's going to set up your entertainment career the best is the more success you have in your football career. Like
Look at
Tom
Tom
Brady always talks about. Yeah. The more you can coast off of an incredible football career, so much further than if you start, half-assing the end of the career and tainting that for the sake of your entertainment. I think it hurts both.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it hurts legacy for sure. And we've had this conversation before, is like what is actually worth more? Building that legacy so that post-career you can do anything you want off of that, because everybody knows your name and everybody knows you to be who you are as a competitor and everything like that. And that's why you have the call it the pull that you do. But like in this day and age with NIL starting when it does in college, everybody's getting money. Everybody's trying to build their brand on socials. Everybody's trying to do all that kind of stuff. I think that sort of pursuit is going to fall away or become incredibly rare. But those people who do pursue it that way are the ones that we're talking about here with like a Mahomes. And I mean, even to a certain extent, Joe Burrow, regardless of what Tom is talking about there, I think he still has that sort of mindset, or is closer to that mindset than the other. So like it's tough to see Travis do this because he's from our era, which, got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like all of this stuff came onto the scene when we were in our prime, call it, like, so he probably just was trying to find those avenues as they were coming to the top and becoming real. And I like that he has this retrospective look and just saying like, hey, yeah, probably could have done better here over the past few years. But at the end of the day, it's hard to fault him when he's he is where he is right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's having a lot of success in multiple aspects of life. Are you guys going to watch that podcast with Taylor Swift and the Kelce?
I'll watch the clips.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll be force-fed it. So thank you, algorithm.
We'll watch it against your will. All right. There we have it. There's some NFL stuff. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.